You probably remember that in the area forecast, they ask you to check the latest AirMet Sierra for any IFR conditions, and we said then that you'd learn more about that later. Well, now is later. You always want to be able to check for any hazardous weather that would affect your flight, so you can make a decision on whether to go or stay home and watch that special on TV. Or if you're in the air, so you can take advantage of that alternative action you planned during your pre-flight planning. When you're planning a flight, or you're already in the air, there are several types of weather advisories that you might get, and these fall under the heading of in-flight aviation weather advisories. One type of weather advisory is an AirMet, which stands for Airman's Meteorological Information. AirMets are issued for the same 6 areas as the area forecasts, and they include warnings of weather conditions that are particularly hazardous to small aircraft. They cover things like IFR weather conditions, moderate turbulence, and icing, stuff that would pose problems for small aircraft, and they're valid for up to 6 hours. For instance, an AirMet is what would be issued for winds on the surface that were blowing 30 knots or more. The FAA even has names for different AirMets to tell you what they're about. Sierra is for IFR weather and mountain obscurations. Tango is for turbulence and also for strong surface winds and low-level wind shear. Zulu covers icing and freezing levels. Another type of weather advisory is a SIGMET. SIGMET stands for Significant Meteorological Information, and that's important stuff. They're issued for the same 6 areas as the area forecasts, and these are valid for a maximum of 4 hours. SIGMETs include warnings of weather conditions that are hazardous to all aircraft, no matter how big or small they are. What kinds of weather hazards? Well, things like severe icing, severe turbulence, or clear air turbulence, CAT, and things like that. Also, dust storms, sandstorms, and lowered visibilities due to volcanic eruptions. For instance, an in-flight advisory on severe icing would be a SIGMET. Now, there's another type of SIGMET, and that's called a convective SIGMET. This SIGMET gets its name from the word convection for rising air, and rising air brings you thunderstorms and all the hazards like tornadoes associated with them. Convective SIGMETs are issued for the eastern, central, and western United States, and they're valid for up to 2 hours. They contain warnings about things like tornadoes, lines of thunderstorms, embedded thunderstorms, and large hail, meaning hail that's 3/4 of an inch or greater in diameter. In other words, any weather that is so nasty, you don't want to be around it for any reason. As you remember, embedded thunderstorms are the sneaky kind that lurk in other clouds. As the FAA says, they're obscured by massive cloud layers, and you can't see them. They're not like an isolated summer thunderstorm that you can see and fly around. Embedded thunderstorms are dangerous because you don't know exactly where they are. You can't see them. As we mentioned earlier, you can get these advisories in flight from Flight Service or ATC or during your pre-flight planning. If an advisory is printed out, its format and abbreviations will be similar to the area forecast. So with a little luck and your new ability to understand in-flight aviation weather advisories, you'll be able to avoid the type of weather even the birds don't fly in.